Hey everyone, welcome back to the Xargon Level Editor instructional videos made by a fan. Today I wanted to talk about how to edit objects in the Xargon Level Editor. And objects are really important because they include things like monsters and bonus items and checkpoints, level start and end areas. Anyway, you really can't make a level without them. So in the last video, part one, I talked about how you can move around the land and platforms and walls and things like that. In this video, I just want to give you a quick introduction to how you can copy, paste, add new objects, delete objects, and just get you started editing objects. So to start out, why don't we load the level we were working on in part one, which you do by hitting L to load, and then typing in the name of the level, which was board 01. Okay, here's our level we were working on in part one. And as you can see, we have some lollipops here in the ground that we didn't work on deleting in the last video. And these lollipops, they're score items. They're a certain category of bonus items. And let's say you wanted to delete one of them. You'd go over to it with the cursor. You'd hit O for object, and that brings up the object menu that you can see on the bottom of the screen there. If you wanted to delete an object, you would hit delete. So D for delete. And as you can see, that deleted the object. If you wanted to copy an object, you would hit O again over an object you want to copy. So I've hit O. It's entered into the object menu. As you can see, it says bonus over there under kind. So it wouldn't do that if we weren't hovering over a particular bonus item object. So we're in the object menu that we hit O to go into while the cursor was on the object. Hit K to copy. And then let's say you wanted to paste that somewhere. You'd go to where you wanted to paste it. We'll paste it into the cave here. Hit O again to enter the object menu. And then hit P to paste it. So, as you can see, we've successfully pasted that bonus object into a new location, and it remains in the old location because we did a copy and paste as opposed to deleting that particular one. So let's say you're setting up, bonus items for Melvinius to jump into. Once again, just kind of hit O to enter that object menu and P to paste in that object you'd previously copied. I'll do that a few more times. Hit O and then hit P. And then you think to yourself, boy, you know what? I put too many of those in there. Let me delete a few of them. Hover over one you want to delete, hit O, and then hit D to delete. So that's pretty good, Here you can see grapes that occur later on in the level, and you can hover over those with the cursor, and similar to the lollipop, hit O, and then hit K. Go to where you want to maybe put them. Hit O again, then hit P to put them. And then if you want to delete them, hit O over them, hit D to delete. So that's the quick way of rearranging some different objects. So another interesting thing, or rather here, let me talk about different types of objects. So we're hovering over an object, hit O to enter the object menu, and you might say to yourself, okay, instead of copying and pasting objects, I want to place certain objects. How do I do that? So you'd go into the object menu, and in this case, let's go look up what number is associated with this object. You can do that by hitting M for modify once you're in this object menu. So we're in the object menu, I'm hitting M, and as you can see, it says there the kind is bonus, the stat is 5, and there's some other items here as well, XD, YD, that for certain items play a certain role, but in this case I'm not sure that they do for these lollipops. So if you wanted to just add an object from scratch, you could hit O to enter the object menu for where you want to place the object, then hit A to add, and then it's prompting you to enter data about the object that you want to put in. And a lot of this information, if you wanted to look up a particular object and what its statistics are and what its name is that you need to enter in this menu, is included in that lengthy instructional document that Alan and I put together talking about the level editor. So in this case, we want to add in the lollipop. We're not copying and pasting it. We're doing it from scratch. We've entered the object menu. We hit A for add. Now we're in the add menu. So for kind, in this case, it was bonus, like for lollipops, and the stat was number 5. And then just hit enter to get through the rest of this menu. And as you can see, it placed the lollipop. So let's see what happens. We're gonna add another bonus item. And I don't even know what this item is, but I'm just gonna pick a different stat. So we entered the object menu. I'm hitting A for add. Replace the word kill me with bonus. And then for stat, let's put 4. I bet that'll be like grapes or cherries or something like that. So go through and look, we placed a different kind of lollipop. That's interesting. And let's do another. Hit O to go into the object menu, add, bonus. Let's hit 6. See what happens there. It's cherries. All right, very good. So I'll just delete these quickly. Hitting O and then delete to delete them. O and D, O and D. Okay, so in addition to bonus items, you're going to want to place monsters in your levels. And monsters are objects as well. And you can find the information for them in the instructional document. They have names associated with them like troll or alien or grunt. So let's go put one in. So hit O for object, A for add, and instead of kill me, let's put in grunt. And we're going to come back to this menu in a second, but I want to demonstrate something first. So I'm placing the grunt, and the grunt has appeared, but as you can see, he's not really lined up with the ground. In order to get him lined up with the ground, different monsters have different y-axis offsets, if you will. A couple pixels here, a couple pixels there. So in order to get them lined up with the ground, you want to change that y-axis offset before you place the monster. And you want to do that by pressing Y and looking up the appropriate y-axis offset. In this case, for the grunt, it's 7. And then enter the object menu by hitting O, and then hit A for add, and then let's enter the grunt, and go through the rest of the values by hitting enter. And as you can see, that placed the grunt on the ground correctly, and he lines up with the ground, and he'll look appropriate as he's walking along on the ground. Now, what you probably want to do if you're done placing grunts with y-axis 7 is go back to that y-axis menu by hitting Y. And as you can see, it still kind of has your cursor or placing tool offset by 7. You want to switch that back to 0. So let's hit 0. We can now go back to where the object is that we placed when we had the Y offset of 0. Hit O to enter the object menu. As you can see, that's the object menu for the grunt. You can then hit D for deleting it. And we've successfully deleted the grunt that was misplaced. Let's say we wanted to delete this grunt that we correctly placed, but we decided we didn't like where we placed them and we're going to put grunts in some other part of the level. So you may want to immediately go over there and enter the object menu and delete them. But if you hit O, you'll see under kind it says none as opposed to grunt. So in other words, you're not in the object menu for that grunt. And if you hit D, it won't do anything. See, I just hit D and it didn't delete the grunt. What you need to do, and this can be a little bit of a pain if you don't remember what the Y offset for certain items is, but you'll need to enter the Y offset for that object so that the cursor is appropriately lining up with the object, and therefore you can enter the menu. So let's say we wanted to delete this grunt that we had placed with the Y offset of 7. First, go and hit Y, then hit 7 to change kind of where your cursor is interfacing with things. Then hit O to go into the object menu. And as you can see, now we're in the object menu for the grunt. And then hit D, and we've deleted it. So that's pretty handy. It may be a little bit more cumbersome than you're used to, but you can get used to it pretty quickly. So in the last video, I talked about copying and pasting land tiles. And I also, in the beginning of this video, talked about copying and pasting objects, like bonus items. And, you know, enemies as objects, you can very quickly kind of copy and paste them as well. So, as you might guess, let's say I wanted to copy and paste. Let me do something else. That's not a grunt. Do we have any monsters that are not grunts in this level? I guess not. Okay, we'll do a grunt. So let's say I wanted to copy and paste this grunt into different places. First, I need to make sure my Y offset is the appropriate one for the grunt, which is 7. Certain other monsters have different Y offsets. For instance, there's an enemy called the Alien. He requires a Y offset of 8. There's an enemy called the Robot. He requires a Y offset of 4. So if we were dealing with those enemies, we'd change the Y offset to the relevant number there, which you can find in the instruction manual for most of these. But in this case, we're setting it to 7 because we know that's the appropriate offset for placing grunts on the ground. Now we're going to enter the object menu for the grunt. And similar to the bonus items before, once we're in the object menu by pressing O, we're then going to press K to copy it. So I've pressed K, that's exited the object menu. But let's say I want to place the grunt over here. You know, I can just enter the object menu again and then hit P to paste it. And let's say I wanted to put a whole lot of them in. You know, I can just quickly enter the object menu by pressing P and then P to paste it. It's already on the clipboard. Let's, you know, do that again. Hit O, then hit P. We're copying and pasting grunts everywhere, and a good 386 computer of the time would probably struggle to play this many grunts. Okay, now we want to delete these. Hit O and then hit delete. Scroll over. Think of the box as being in kind of the top left of a square that contains the object. That might be a good way to think about it. Hit O and then hit D. Hit O and then hit D. And let's go place another monster while I'm demonstrating things. So let's place the Alien. That's a fun monster, and let's place him somewhere. Let's place him up here with the other grunt. So the Alien requires a Y offset of 8, so I hit Y and I'm changing the 7 to an 8. Then I'm entering the object menu by pressing O, and then I'm pressing A to add, and then I'm typing in Alien because that's the name of the enemy, which you can find in the instructions. And then I'm hitting Enter to go through all this other data, and there you go. It's the Alien from episode 2 of Xargon in our draft first level here. And at this point, let's save the level, see how it looks. Hit S to save. Board 01 is the name I'm saving this as in this version of Xargon, so I'm just going to hit Enter. And you don't really need to do much else. If you place something like a grunt or the Alien, just placing them in the appropriate place, kind of running on the ground of a level, the game's code will kind of already establishes movement for those enemies and hit points for those enemies and things. So you don't need to worry about that too much. Let's say here I'll load up a different level just to do things here. So let's say you see an enemy in another level and you're not sure what its name is or what its Y offset is. You can just start experimenting until you're able to enter the object menu for that. So let's see, I'm not sure what the Y offset is for this beetle enemy, so let's start with 1 and then hit O. And the kind there says none as opposed to a monster name, so we didn't get the correct Y offset for that. Let's change that again. Y offset of I think it might be 4. Let me see. Hit O. None. Okay, we didn't get the right one there. Hit Y again. Let's try 3. Hit O. All right, we did not get the right one again. Is it 2? Let's hit O. Nope, we didn't get that. Maybe it's 5. Y offset of 5. Hit O to enter the object menu. Nope, that's not it. Hit 6. Hit O to enter the object menu. That's not it. Hit 7. Hit O to enter the object menu. That's not it. Hit 8. Hit O to enter the object menu. And there you go. It says under kind spider, and that's, I'm sure that that's the name of the enemy, and that indicates that you're in the object menu for that enemy. And now you can do everything that I just demonstrated, such as copying and pasting it, or deleting it, or hitting A to add in the object menu and typing in spider as opposed to grunt or alien. So this was hopefully a quick and informative overview for doing object in the level editor. There'll probably need to be more videos about this, as certain objects have get some kind of complicated parameters associated with them, like keys and switches, and turning into the submersible or the bee, and it's probably beyond the scope of this quick video. But this will get you going with placing bonus items, and placing and deleting and modifying monsters and levels, and this can really get you launched. Between video 1 and video 2, you should be able to be on your way for modifying land and platforms, and placing enemies and items and things. And just either refer to the instructions for the names or characteristics associated with certain objects, or go into a certain level and just do like I did here in the last minute, and experiment with just hover over an item and hit O, and if it's not coming up, change the Y offset until and try going into the object menu again until maybe it does work, and that'll give you the data on certain objects, and then you can use that data to place them in your own levels, or try to copy and paste them from one level into another. I will say though, when I try to copy and paste an object from one level to another, similar to how we copied and pasted land blocks from one level to another in the previous video, sometimes the object data gets a little bit messed up, and the object that you wanted to place that you thought you copied is not the one that winds up getting placed when you go to paste it in. But if you're copying and pasting within the same level, things tend to work out okay with the copy and paste ability, and it's of course very handy to get things going very quickly. So this was the quick overview on placing objects, and I hope that it helps you to get going with your own levels. Thanks everyone.